Thank you for joining our webinar here today at InfoSim. Our topic is Connected Citizens, a smart city-enabling digital platform. My name is Dr. Nieke Aert. I'm a Senior Research and Development Consultant with InfoSim, and I will be moderating today's event. Before I hand over things to our first speaker, I have a couple of things that I want you all to know. First off, all of you are muted when joining our audience in order to keep down the background noise. So to ask a question, please use the questions window of the GoToWebinar application. As usual, we will be taking care of all your questions either directly in the chat or at the end of today's webinar. So please don't hold back and let us know if you have a question or remark at any time. Also note that this event is being recorded and all of you will be notified tomorrow via email, including a link to the recording. In today's webinar, we will address the general platform, the open APIs and ecosystems, a variety of use cases, and the business value of the Catalyst. We will end with a Q&A session. That's all from my end so far. So I would like to go ahead and hand over control to our first presenter, Alexander Chaffot, who is PM Innovation and Smart City at Ville de Saint-Quentin. Alexander, are you ready?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. You can start.
Okay, thank you. The Connected Citizen project is a long journey which has begun 3 years ago. And the city of Saint-Quentin, I joined this project last year when the mayor met the Connected Citizen team with other cities' representatives in order to share their concerns and needs in the process of transforming cities in smart cities. By implementing this smart city platform to create a digital innovation hub in Saint-Quentin, we have become an active player of the project. Why, as the city, are we interested in participating to this project? Because we want to address two recurrent problems that cities encounter in their digital transformation. For many years, cities have launched smart cities initiative with mixed results, notably the creation of a fragmented world of experimentation, trials, proof of concept with low interoperability and perennity. Secondly, for many years, cities have also launched open data initiative with mixed results, as shown by the creation of very little economic value from raising data. Our vision in this project is to overpass these limits in smart city strategies by creating the platform that makes the junction between different stakeholders of local territories: city service, academics, digital and traditional economic sectors, and citizens. To do that, we are building blocks to define a standardized framework for smart city. Our ambition is to propose a scalable, flexible cloud middleware solution to cities. This solution should allow them to enable or aggregate various digital services developed by third parties, as well as allow management of different levels of services. For example, we want to make the data more liquid to increase the creation of economic value by using them. To do that, we will organize and secure the free movement of data through an interoperable system based on open APIs and using technologies like blockchain in order to secure the data. Making data more liquid is not enough for capturing the economic value of data. We need to create a very vibrant ecosystem of developers to turn data into valuable digital services. To do that, we will create an interoperable platform that will enable startup or any software company to develop new services for smart city. This service will be based on the multiple building blocks of the platform like data hub, analytics, blockchain, geodata, and so on. In the end, we hope to create an environment that will foster the achievement of a smart city main goals, like improve the efficiency of public services, foster citizen participatory, stimulate local attractivity, and accelerate the local digital ecosystem. I give the floor to Nikki. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexander. Let's continue with our next speaker, Christian Heusele, who is Senior Technology Consultant at Bearing Point. Christian, are you ready?
Yeah, Wes. Well, I'm ready. Thanks, Nieke. So thanks, Alexandra, for the nice introduction. First of all, can you hear me? Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you all for the nice introduction. And thanks, Alexandra, for the first, let's say, pitch about the history of the connected citizen, what is our vision, and so on. As you all may know, when developing a project is one thing, but when you are working with many companies, which is under leadership of the TM Forum, it is necessary that you separate the workload in different streams. For us, it works best that we decided to divide the streams into a business stream, which is defining all of the objects which are responsibly or relevant for business. In the middle, there is the technical streams. I mean, this is the part where all of the capabilities, the technical guys from the different companies came in and bundled their competences to not only develop a solution, to find out what is possible, what we can deliver with existing services. And on the right-hand side, I mean, developing one thing is good, but you have to be sure that the platform what you are running is always be operational. This is why we separate into an operational stream. Maybe the next slide, please. So for that, we have a 3-layer approach. So when you go to a city and say, okay, you want to be a smart city, the first of the cities say, okay, but you want to invest money. So our approach is that we say, okay, we have a technical platform. We are trying to develop this technical platform and to work with the resources and the infrastructure which the different cities are having or are providing to us. In our digital age, every city has different IoT devices. What we are doing is we are creating these technical capabilities on our 2nd layer on a connected citizen technical platform. The next case is we try to define a use case which is based on the, let's say, requirements on the city on the one hand, and also on the capabilities a city or the different participants can bring into the platform. And the third thing is, I mean, it's all about how we can create a business model about that and how we can do, let's say, create a win-win situation for a city, for the citizens, and at least, for the different companies which are participating. In the next slide, you can see this, let's say, pyramid. So, I mean, we built that up as every good model needs a sustainable one, which should be, hold over ages. It begins with a data hub, with a network, and the technical integration in the bottom layer. In the middle, how we connect that is with open APIs. Open APIs is a TM Forum standard, which allows the power of open APIs to connect different companies using these open APIs to bundle their capabilities and create new applications. In the middle, there is the heart of the pyramid. This is the operations part. I mean, operations are important for us because everyone has to know if a service is online, offline, or in a maintenance mode. On the right-hand side, distributed ledgers, I mean, this is all about the technology, these new disrupting technologies where we can discuss later on. I mean, this is also an important part, how we can collect all of the information or all of the transformations that different citizens are doing. On top of that, we have, as explained before, the use cases in addition with the partnering. And in the end, and at the tip of the iceberg or the tip of the pyramid is like that, we have the business model. Yeah? And the business model is important because in the end of the day, all of us want to have a win-win situation. Let's take a view at the global technical integration part. I think this is the next slide, please. Yeah, as you can see, this is the very basic overview of a platform. It begins on the left-hand side, as explained in this catalyst. We have the city of Nice as a champion, and we have the city of Saint-Quentin, which is also a French town, which is also providing some IoT devices and open data. So what we are doing is we have developed an API portal, which is using the TM Forum APIs. So we are pulling all of their information over our API portal, and then we have in the middle of that the different participants with the platform. As you can see, as example, we have a smart city network provided by Citymetrics. We have a BSS system from Bearing Point. We have in the middle, as we all know, a security and identity management, because we have so many different IoT devices out there, but we have to be sure what is important, what is our devices, and is it secure or not. On the right-hand side, we have also here the operations part, and on top of that, we have the blockchain. And for what we are doing that all for collecting the information from the left-hand side. We are merging the information, working with the information on the platform, and then we are pushing the information to a connected citizen, tourists, or the staff, develop some apps to do this, as I explained before, win-win situation and circle. Maybe let's take a deeper look at the connected citizen APIs. So as you may know, or as I explained before, TM Forum is providing all of these open APIs, which can be used from every participant or from everyone. And the goal is to optimize the workflow between the different participants, find APIs which are, let's say, multi-usable for software companies, for data providers, for IoT integrations. And from our side, as you can see in the middle, we did some contribution. It is one about the distributed ledger API, and on the right-hand side, it is the IoT data management API. When we are talking about IoT, IoE data, what we need is a data hub. The data hub, the technical architecture, is built on freeware. As I explained it before, we collected all of the city capabilities with their different IoT devices and of their different data types. We put them all over in, certified them with an identification management over our API border. Then you can see we used the context broker from Fiverr in combination with the MongoDB, which stores all the information on that, which deploys the IoT backend. And for the web front end, we are using a normal Nginx front end application with Node.js, and this all is based about Docker environment. And as you can see, around this, let's say, simple technical architecture, we built a security layer, which was provided by our friends at Fortran. And this platform capabilities enables the AI analytics, the security, the data management, the privacy, data management, and this distributed ledgers. When we are talking about distributed ledgers, and maybe you can switch on the next slide, there's always a kind of that how we can use this blockchain technology for our platform. As explained, we are collecting the data, we are trying to using the data which is directly from the data hub from NIS, and we have tried to configure or using those information and reward the citizens with the GWD technology, and in our point of view, from the distributed ledgers API. This creates a circle which is allows the cities to reduce their costs. On the other hand, let's say, motivate the citizens to work with them, and in the end, we can create a smarter, cleaner city, which all makes our life safer and the environment clean. And maybe this is all from my side at the moment, and I think I will give over to the next presenter. Thank you, Nike. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Christian. Next up is Philip Stander, Managing Director at GWD. Philip, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Nika. And Nika, you can move on to the next slide.
It is on the next slide.
Thank you. An important technical capability of the Smart City Digital platform is blockchain and distributed ledger capabilities. So the circle on the left-hand side, what we are showing in that circle is a distributed ledger platform consisting of nodes that are shared between cities, and where the nodes may implement more than one specific distributed ledger or blockchain technology, they're suited for specific smart city initiatives. So really what we are creating is an abstraction layer through which smart cities participating in the coalition network can really be abstracted from the complexities of distributed ledger and blockchain technologies, and they can really leverage all the capabilities for specific business use cases. So cities may share in this coalition network, may share a specific blockchain, or they may run isolated private blockchains depending on agreed policies. So effectively, this becomes a blockchain or distributed ledger network in which cities can elect to participate in coalitions or run isolated blockchains for specific needs and use cases. So on the right-hand side, I'm showing a bit of an Ethereum perspective, because in our initial focus, we implemented Ethereum under our abstraction APIs. And Ethereum will basically push data into smart contracts. In that architecture, your Oracle nodes will push data into smart contracts or push events into the platform for processing. Our initial use cases that we used to showcase the capabilities that we've built was rewarding of connected citizens for specific behaviors. And you can move on to the next slide, Nico, where we're showcasing a rewards use case. So this is City of Saint-Quentin use case that we showcased, in which the City of Saint-Quentin has an objective to do smart waste collection, route planning, and to really minimize the time that the refuse bins are on the pavements, because that's really a visual distraction from the city aesthetics. So effectively, if you imagine a bin placement that's connected to an IoT device, that basically sends an event into the city IoT platform to basically notify that the bin has been placed by the citizen. Basically, there's a process to do optimal route planning, and the bin will be emptied. We will receive a bin volume event to reward the citizen for optimal usage of the bin. And effectively, those events are processed for rewarding, and the events are processed through the API border. And then we use the TM Forum Loyalty Management API, which is the standards API for reward program management. And then we use the new distributed ledger API that we've developed. That's an abstraction layer on top of blockchain. And basically, we reward the citizen with ethers or virtual currencies or digital currencies in the blockchain. And basically, this is just one example. Another key use case that we're examining and implementing at the moment is really the aspects of smart contract management, digital contracts that lives in the blockchain or distributed ledger, that manages aspects like access by service providers that's onboarded on the platform to restricted city data, so that you control data access in line with GDPR and privacy acts around the world. So really, we're seeing blockchain as a key enabler in the platform as a technical capability that will really unlock lots of new future use cases. Thank you, Nika. Over to you.
Thank you, Philip. Let's move the microphone to Takayuki Nakamura, Manager of Network Division at NTT Comware. Taka, are you ready?
Thank you, Nika. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. This page explains Smart City Platform capability from business support system side. Smart City Platform consists from two aspects: platform for local government and platform for service provider. Thus, for city needs different security level for privacy system data, and also manage workflow between internal IT system and this platform capability. Service provider needs to manage their services, including IoT device and related data. Can you go next slide? Nika, can you go next slide? Yes, thank you. Therefore, as first point, platform capability for city protects privacy to interact with citizen database. Second point, between city platform capability and service provider platform capability interacts with open APIs. As third point, platform enables to onboard new services with workflow at both sides. Please go next slide. This picture shows typical data flow between city and service provider over platform. For smart garbage use case, platform capability for city extracts citizen data through flexible entry by entity. On the other hand side, platform capability for service provider consumes customer data and delivers IoT data by info number R6 provided by bearing point. These interactions between R6 and flexible entry are realized by TMF Open API. Can you go next slide? And this page shows screen images of flexible entry by entity and info number R6 by bearing point. The left-hand side enables city staff to manage citizen data, and right-hand side enables service provider to provide citizen as customer with services through limited data which is necessary for this service. Again, these interactions are through TM open APIs, such as service order. So I'd like to hand over the next speaker. Thank you, Nika.
Thank you, Taka. Let's hand back to Christian Heusele from Bearing Point.
Yeah, thank you, Taka. Thank you, Nika. So we have heard about a few use cases about how we can reward citizens by blockchain. We heard about the use cases about Saint-Quentin, but what we all do not have to forget is, we're always talking about IoT devices. IoT devices outside, this is what all of us called the things that they are working. They are having an internet address and they're delivering data. That's good. But how can we be sure if this device which is sending us information back is a secured one? So for that, one of our participants companies or participating companies has delivered a solution. The company is named ForgeRock, and they have their own identity and access management solution, which identifies on the one hand the IoT devices which are outside, and on the other hand identifies people who are working with them with a unique ID. As an example, as you can see here in the middle, we have a smart city platform. All of the different laptops which are here around in a circle are protected by ForgeRock with an identity management, and those are pulling all of the information from the platform, and the platform is pulling the information from outside. On the left-hand side, I do not know if one of you have been in Nice and have seen these Vélo Bleus. Those are this is a smart city solution which is encouraging citizens to keep the car at home and to use the bike. And for that, you can. There are apps outside which are telling you as a person or as a visitor how many open places are there on the map and how far you have to go and so on. The next is, it's all using about how can we be sure. ForgeRock came therein, identifies all of the different bikes, identifies all of the different solutions, and have their own security check on that. Next thing is, one of the use cases was how we can reduce the waste, or let's say in other words, how we can optimize the waste management by a city of Nice. For that, the city of Nice has given us normal data, private data, which is without personal data information. So we use the information and try to develop a solution, or in other words, ForgeRock developed a solution which optimizes, let's say the collect way for the waste cars which are collecting the wasting bins. And what ForgeRock did was they calculated the optimized route with their solution. All of the information are placed or are stored in the data hub, and the data hub is exchanging. Also, there is an information from ForgeRock which has the possibility to secure all of the different, let's say, access variations from and outside. And on the right-hand side, there are all of the different, let's say, stakeholder on a personal level, the employee for a company, a contractor, a citizen, or a tourist. Maybe we can go to the next slide, please. And on the next slide, you see here this as example demo impressions we have presented at the city of Nice. On the left-hand side, you see the ForgeRock city management, which is obtaining all of the waste management. What I forget maybe before was every waste bin in Nice has an own, let's say, weight sensor, and it's okay, if the weight sensor is about 1,000 liters, then it turns into yellow or into red, and the waste car will get it. They also have in the middle a Vélo Bleu solution, and on the right hand the parking thing. What you can see in the bottom is the web interface, which was built by ForgeRock, which displays a virtual map of the city of Nice, but with real data from the waste bins. And on the right-hand side, there's also a possibility that ForgeRock implements digital identity, which means you can only start the car or your waste truck when you are a person, when you are an employee of the city of Nice. This is a kind of, let's say, identity management, which can be improved, which can be provided, and which will be submitted by ForgeRock. And to do this, What we need is always a good network connection. And in that case, I think I will give over to the next speaker. And as far as I know, we will talk about the next amazing things.
Thank you, Christian. Our next speaker is Marc Girard. He is President and CEO at CVmetrics Telecom. Marc, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Do you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Nike. We've been talking for the last few minutes about smart cities, of course, and CVmetrics subscribes to everything that has been said and what is needed. However, there is a problem. We are always talking about smart cities, and there are a lot of much smaller smart communities which will never be able to afford many of the things that we have been talking about. So CVmetrics has been working with smaller communities in Quebec, Canada, on developing a shared infrastructure model, and that thanks to we are at the network level, and we provide we provide slices of network to all kinds of different operators, and we do this in association with municipalities. Today, we know we have to overcome problems like facilities-based competition, which today does not allow, many small municipalities have nothing because of this traditional telecom setup, where they have very little, and their fight to break the digital divide has to begin with having an appropriate network for all the new stuff that is coming. And to have also security networks. In many of these areas, secured networks, in many of these areas, the uses, the smart city uses will pertain to health, and these municipalities want to have private networks for all things that are health related, for the IoT devices which are health related. So CVmetrics, using SDN, software defined networks, and network function virtualization technologies, is going to be rolling out the first 100% SDN community, and will be giving on-demand networks to different service providers, and the towns themselves will be taking their own slices of this single shared network for all of their smart city uses, which will be decreasing costs for them in a significant way, and allow for the first time for low densely populated areas to also benefit from smart city applications. Can you move to the next slide? The traditional approach right now, which is going on in telecom, is there's, most telecom companies are still offering triple play, even though we know triple play is dying, and most IoT devices are connected to the public internet, and we are expecting citizens and businesses, and even small towns, they don't have the personnel to be able to do all of this stuff properly, so right now there's many and soon to be millions and millions and millions of IoT devices connected to the public internet, and that poses all kinds of problems. When things are connected over the public internet, even for a service provider, there isn't much control on their part. Now, in CVmetrics model, which is under construction now, which will be rolled out in Austin, Quebec in the coming year, there is a single transport network, and we virtualize different, let's say, lanes or slices of the networks for different applications. So a smart city application, that the city can order up a network which, instantly on demand, a network which is covering sensors with specific policies for sensors for water quality, or even for garbage collection. They can be all separate networks given on demand, again at a very low cost to the city because it's only a slice of the overall network, and that same general network is being used by all kinds of other applications going to people's homes, because this is a fiber to the home network with a single active infrastructure, and that active infrastructure is shared between many. Getting back to the smart city applications, again, the overall infrastructure for the security authentication, the data hubs, et cetera, all of that adds up to a lot of money that one small town cannot afford. So through Civimetrics, we are spreading the costs of a single infrastructure. The entire smart city infrastructure will be shared. The cost will be shared by many small municipalities that we are managing. Again, well, I've talked about Austin, Canada, which is the first municipality. Civimetrics, it's a world pilot deployment, which is supported by the Canadian government, the Quebec government, the town of Austin itself, and the municipal regional municipality also. And we are very happy to be working with TM Forum, putting all the pieces together, which we need through our network system to be able to share between many. So that's it for now. I turn it over to you. It's basically we're all about finding ways to allow these smaller towns to be part of the smart city world.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay.
Our next speaker is Director of Research here at InfoSim, David Hock. David, go ahead.
Thank you, Nika. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Perfect. So hello also from my side, happy to speak to you. As we have heard before, one of the key things that we had a look at right from the beginning is not just creating concepts, but creating a real platform that at some point can be commercially run, then can be used worldwide for the different cities to become smart cities with connected citizens. And the key part to enable all of this is operating this digital platform and making sure that operations are running fine. And I think to all of us, all of our people in the audience, whether you are specifically for smart city or whether you have something to do with IT systems, infrastructure, network, in any other sense, you probably all know that if you want to be successful in operating, this needs to be cost efficient. And a common problem that we have been seeing many times before at customer sites, our partners have been telling us, confirming us, is that typically you have a lot of different tools being used for this management, for different vendors, for different silos, let it be fault management, performance management, configuration management, for different technologies. So people end up having a sort of a zoo of different management systems with different graphical user interfaces, different licenses, different maintenance cycles, and so on and so forth. And we think that one key thing to make the operation of a digital platform possible is having one scalable all-in-one solution that is offering the customization that is needed to the particular use cases of the smart city, but also on the same side offering the automation to reduce the overhead cost by the manual processes. So this is something that for us is a key thing about operation. And if we actually look a little bit more into what operation actually means for a digital platform, this starts with integrating all the different components, getting right from the IoT edge to the communication infrastructure, all the way down to the cloud infrastructure, the data hub. All of this needs to be monitored. There needs to be performance management done, all the reporting in order to do capacity planning, to know if the resources are enough or something should be added, and if yes, in which place. It's about alarming and fault management. So the the platform is containing a lot of different systems and subsystems, so it's key to be able to find out where problems are real quick, to do root cause analysis, to be quickly fixing those problems, and to have a good overall performance. And it's also about provisioning and configuration management, because the more complex our use cases of smart cities we are having in mind are getting, the more complex we might also have to interact with the different systems. So we are not just talking about monitoring IoT, but we might also be talking about managing IoT. Why not switching traffic lights green and red depending on the current traffic in order to influence the speed of the traffic, to have greener cities with less traffic, to speed up the police ways. So definitely provisioning and configuration management is also important. And then you still also have those subsystems that you can't completely get rid of because they have their specific purpose. So it's also necessary to offer some drill down to the different components. And as a last slide from my part, I just want to give some quick impressions for those that didn't have the chance to be in Nice at the digital TM Forum Digital World. Digital Transformation World, pardon me. So here I'm just showing some ideas of what we have shown there in terms of operations. So on the left side you see this is our commercial software StableNet by InfoSim, and it's actually prepared to handle this digital platform. On the left side you see a dashboard containing the different participants. So we have been monitoring the different subsystems from Bearing Point, City of Nice, City of Saint-Quentin, and so on. We have offered, what else did we have? We had a 3D model live where you could handle parking spaces, so we had alarming about that. We had an Amazon Alexa integration that you could ask with voice assistance. You could ask about the current situation. We also had an iPhone app in place. So this is just to give you some impression where the journey is going, and operation is really also one key thing about this whole platform. Handing back to Nika. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. With us is also the VP Global Customer Engagement at TM Forum, Naveen Suri. Naveen, are you ready to take over?
Hi, Nika. How are you? Hello, everybody. When we started to look at the complex ecosystem within a city, what we realized was it was extremely important for us to understand the relationships between the different parties, the businesses or the enterprises, the cities and the citizens, and so on, and the universities and tourists visiting Nice or Saint-Quentin. We captured the relationships from many different angles, how the data is going to flow, how the service was going to be undertaken, where were the financial flows occurring between the citizens and the businesses, and what were the points and how they were accumulated and how they were redeemed. And all of these different flows gave us a very good understanding of how the different ecosystem players were going to behave with each other, and who was obligated to do what. And we captured all of this in this TM Forum Curate FX, which gave us a good sense of the complexity. Secondly, we also undertook an understanding of what the business models need to be for a platform like this, and there is no one business model we realized that fit all the different use cases. We had to look at a transaction-based system. We had to look at a business model that was, let's say, a monthly service fee or based on advertising. Some of the use cases had to be provided for free by the city, and how this platform was going to host different application service providers' applications, and how we needed to monetize this platform. We looked at all of those different aspects, and so the complexity was delineated using Curate FX, a TM Forum product, and we looked at and we mapped all of the use cases that we detailed into different business cases. Next slide, please. And the TM Forum, as you know, is an industry organization that that fosters collaboration between its members. And one of the critical components in this is the use of Catalyst, which is a proof of concept where different members provide solutions to a problem that, let's say, is stated by a service provider or a city. In this particular case, the city of Nice, city of San Quentin, and others, Cape Town, Tokyo in the future, etc., presented a problem statement, and that problem statement was then addressed by this catalyst, which typically is a 4-month cycle, and is the solution is presented twice a year, once in Nice at the World Conference, and another one in Asia at the Digital Transformation Asia. So this is a wonderful way for all our members to pool in their expertise and bring a solution together that works for everyone. Next slide, please. And what we have found, that this catalyst, that the platform catalyst that we have developed addresses a specific need or sets of needs by as proposed by the different cities that we've worked with. So together, the team, as you see here, brought in different aspects, whether it was network, whether it was operations, or different pieces of the solutions like blockchain and an advertising engine, and so on and so forth. We put that together to address the issues raised by the different cities of how we were to accelerate or understand the complex digital ecosystem in a city, which is different from one to the other. How does the city provide public services very efficiently and help foster the involvement of the citizens, as we have seen in the city of Bristol or Seoul or San Francisco, or even Nice and San Quentin, and ultimately boosting a city's attractiveness. And I must say at this point that this platform is extendable. It can be used by the service providers as well to offer services. Next slide, please. And what it's very important at the beginning of this, when we all sat down, we wanted to adhere to the city as a manifesto. We wanted to comply the TM Forum manifesto on the city, which some of the salient points are listed on the slide, and the important ones, of course, there is the technology, but more importantly, there are other aspects that we have to look at: GDPR, data security and privacy, federation of data and services, because different cities require different use cases. And the use of open standards and open APIs as developed by the TM Forum, which is now becoming very popular amongst all the users across the world. And of course, things like improving life and strengthening the democracy, and obviously supporting the UN Sustainable Development Goal. So at this point, I would just like to wrap up and say that this Connected Citizen Catalyst, which is an award-winning catalyst at the TM Forum, is now stepping up and fulfilling the white space that it has, that the members have found that we need to take care of. Things like putting an advertising engine, or having a data analytics, a better data analytics engine, etc. So we are preparing from a technology point of view and advancing it to the Digital Transformation Asia, where we will be displaying this. It'll be the next version of this. And at the same time, we are looking at, in details, the different business models and how we can make this platform commercially viable. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you, Naveen, and thanks again to all our presenters for this very interesting session today. In my opinion, we still have some time for some questions. So the first question, I think it's for Naveen. Someone asked, if I'm a city leader interested in getting involved, who should I contact?
Well, first of all, thanks for the question. You can contact me and we will get you in touch with our Catalyst program and go from there. It's a simple process of sharing the information with you and then having you become a member of this platform. So please get in touch with me. You have my information.
And I guess the same holds if you're not a city leader, but someone who would like to contribute to the project in another way?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Nikki. That's a very good point. Yes, if your company, either as a CSP or a vendor, would like to join the Catalyst because you believe that you can contribute one or more things to it, then please contact me and I'll be able to go over what a Catalyst program is at the forum and how you can join. Absolutely.
Thank you, Naveen. The second question is for Alexandre. Someone wants to know how far this project is away from actually running in your city, or kind of how involved the city is. Are you, for example, sharing data from your city, which is then used for the demonstrations?
What? Sorry.
Yes, I can repeat the question. Someone wants to know how far this project is from actually running in your city. Are you actually already running this, or are you using live data in order to show demonstrations?
Okay. For the moment, we have just we just give an access to your data on your open data portal on ArcGIS portal, which is GIS. And in the next year, the aim is to build a digital innovation hub in Saint-Quentin by developing some use case, new use case using the technology of the platform. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Alexander. Besides these two questions, I've seen some quite more technical questions to particular partners. I think these questions will be answered with a follow-up. But if you also have such a question, please feel free to contact any of the speakers directly. Their contact info will be you can find that in the slide set that will be shared with all of you.
Yes, we have also added Christian Maitre as an additional person here. He couldn't join on last minute as a speaker, but he is saying greetings to everybody. So he is the contact person from Orange Group, one of the leaders of this Catalyst. And not just Christian Maitre, but all of us are very, very happy to help you and support you. So thanks in advance for sending us your questions, comments, and for maybe joining the team in the future. Thank you.
Okay, I would like to thank everyone for joining us today. As I have mentioned earlier, a recording of this webinar will be made available to all of you tomorrow via email. And we will keep the session open for a few more minutes in case anyone from our audience decides to type in another question. Yeah, so I guess that's all from us today. I will ask the speakers if they have a final remark. Maybe Alexander?
Yes, but thank you for joining the call, and we will be very happy for the city of Saint-Quentin to deploy a digital hub in your city and develop new use case by using the technology with the different blocks of the platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexander. What about you, Taka? Do you have something to add?
Okay, Nikkei, I can go. This is Naveen. I just want to thank everyone on behalf of even Taka, who may be experiencing technical difficulties. Thank you all for joining us. And if there are any questions, as Nikkei said, you can approach us in many different ways. But we look forward to hearing from you, your comments, your suggestions, and if you so choose to contact us to join, please do so, and we'll provide you with all the necessary and requisite information. Thank you.
Thank you, Naveen. What about you, Christian? Do you have something to add?
Yeah, maybe one last thing. I mean, what we are using is in our demonstration or in our platform demonstration, we only used data which is available or which is or was available as an open data and which was given from us without personal information from the different cities. And on the other hand, I mean, I want to thank everyone that was joining, and it is also only just notice from my side. We achieved so much within 4 months with different people from different companies, from different time zones. And we're really looking forward to harden this platform, to open up this platform. And we really invite partners and university to join this platform, because in the end, we all want to make our city smarter. We all want to make a better environment for us. And in the end, we all want to follow one dream with one team. Thanks for that.
Thank you, Christian. Then the next one up, Mark, do you have something to add?
No, I guess Christian just said it all. He said most of what I was going to say. So I just thank everyone and look forward to our next meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Philip, do you have something more?
Yes, I just want to add from my side that obviously working on this platform as a contributed innovation from the various stakeholders that you've heard from in this presentation is a privilege. I think to make this work, it'll be fantastic if we get more city participation from all over the world. So if there are any city representatives considering smart city strategies and initiatives that haven't thought about a platform in the middle to drive all of this, this is really an opportunity and an open invitation to join the TM Forum initiative, because the more use cases we have, the more robust the platform is going to be. That'll be the outcome of our Catalyst initiatives. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Philip. So, David, what about you? A final remark?
Yes, so as everything has been said, basically, maybe I just also want to thank everybody again, and I think it's worth mentioning that this was a webinar with speakers from 4 different continents with, I think, 5 different native languages. So it's really a pleasure to do this webinar, and I hope that we could also, maybe also by the different nations and nationalities and the speakers, bring over that global message that we think that it's good to work on that platform. And also from my side, thank you. I see more questions popping up. We will handle them offline. And for those who haven't seen it, there is a handout to download. So you somewhere in your GoToWebinar screen, you will probably see a PDF to download. So make sure you pick it. And thank you also from my side.
Okay, thank you all again. Our next Global Webinar Day will be on August 30. And in case you are not on our invitation list but would like to receive those invites, please send an email to newsletter@infosim.net. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.